Alright, what is up, guys? Loser Maniac here. Sorry. And today, I'm gonna change up the intro. And today, I want to talk about something that I've thought about talking about, but I didn't know how to go at it. And today, I want to. I'm all over the place with this today. But before I do that, I feel like I should give a bit of context as to what I'm talking about and why I'm talking about it. Well, I guess why I'm talking about it is going to be like the main purpose of this video. So if you guys don't know, I'm a big Mass Effect fan. I love the franchise. I haven't played Andromeda, mostly just because of the fact that it takes EA Plays, and EA Plays I think is a membership, which is so fucking stupid, but whatever. So I need EA Plays for that one. But Big Dan Gaming, if you follow Mass Effect YouTubers, then I'm pretty sure you've come across him at some point. He does like all these hypothetical scenarios, like what happens if you bring Legion to Tally's trial. That's my favorite video of his. What happens if you break up with Miranda? Because apparently no one has done that before. Which that's about the only one of his in regards to Mass Effect that I haven't seen, just because I I don't want to watch that. It's too much for me. But he made a video, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, where he talked about like the romances and how people react to the romances in Mass Effect. And while I'm not giving my opinion on that, because he already clarified it in like a separate video that like he said that like his video was supposed to be more of like a more serious, but to some people, and he even watched himself, it came across as a bit aggressive. And I'm not going to talk about that just because it's not my business, and that's not what I'm talking about. But one of the stuff he mentioned was the whole Rule 34 issue. Now, if you guys don't know what Rule 34 is, first of all, bless your heart. But also, I'm going to talk about it. So if you still don't want to know, then turn away now. I'll give you about like a couple seconds or after this conversation for you to turn away. So, Rule 34, is like, I guess, an unofficial, but I guess it's kind of official at this point. It's an unofficial rule on the internet, which is that if it exists, there's porn of it. And to that, and side note, I don't think that's true, that there isn't porn of everything. Just because you're sexual with something doesn't mean that it falls under Rule 34. Like you could search up a teapot being fucked by a Keurig, and that won't be under Rule 34 because nothing like that exists. Although after saying that, I want to see that so bad. A Keurig machine fucking a teapot, like a tea kettle, that stuff that whistles. Oh, I'm curious about that now. But so one of the reasons as to why I bring this up is because I have, and as you can tell by the title, I have somewhat of a love-hate relationship with Rule 34. Now, here's the thing. I do not want to, I'm all for, artistic expression. If you want to write something, if you want to draw something, go for it. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not huge into art a whole lot, but if you want to write, some very inappropriate stuff, if it's within reason, it should be fine. But there's also, I don't want to say that there are certain things that shouldn't be written. I just think the wrong people are writing Rule 34 art. And this is where I start to, this is probably where I'm going to get a lot of shit from die-hard Rule 34 fans. And I do say die-hard because there's die-hard fans of everything. I'm pretty sure there's a die-hard fan of this mouse right here. I'm pretty sure someone out there is like, yo, this red Logitech mouse, not sponsored, I love this, and I will kill anyone who says otherwise. I'm pretty sure there are diehard fans of everything. So, and do I really care if I offend Rule 34 diehards? No. Because what I'm about to say doesn't apply to every diehard Rule 34 fans. But this, and it seems weird saying that, but I'm gonna have to say it. So let me give preface. Let me back up and talk about some good things that I encourage on Rule 34 versus things I don't encourage. So the things I do encourage when it comes to Rule 34 is if your Rule 34 kind of mostly follows like video games and animated TV shows, but mostly video games. Like you'll find a lot of Rule 34 video game shit. The two examples that I have is Fallout and Mass Effect. Because Mass Effect Rule 34 isn't as aggressive with the stuff I don't like as opposed to the Fallout franchise. I'll explain why in a moment. But first, let's go over some examples as to what I am fine with. If any sort of sexual pleasure between two characters, that is what I'm fine with, because that is something that follows the game logic in a sense. And because since we're talking about Rule 34, this is going to be the weirdest video you've ever watched, that is just something I'm fine with, I guess. What I am against is if it's with impossible people or with impossible standards. Let me explain. Like I mentioned before, Mass Effect isn't as guilty with this certain rule as opposed to the Fallout franchise. In Fallout, there's a lot of animals, such as geckos, deathclaws, lake lurks. It's within the New Vegas realm. Dogs, a lot of dogs, and whatnot. There's even a very famous Fallout character companion named Dogmeat. So if you go on Fallout 4, Rule 34, you will see, probably, I guarantee you will see the character Dogmeat fucking a human. That is not something I want. That's not something anyone would want to see, because it's not realistic to the game. And it's very much frowned upon in real life too, because when has someone ever been given praise by a large group of people for fucking a dog? That makes no sense. You might as well be having kids, which I do not condone, by the way. I know me saying that was just like, whoa, he's interested in that stuff. No, I'm just giving an example. Like, if you're fine with having characters fucking dogs, then you need serious. I don't care if it's like, oh, it's just an act. You allow this stuff. Now, Fallout is very guilty of this. Not as much, but sorry, let me rephrase. Mass Effect is guilty of this, but not to the extent of Fallout. I recently I've come across like random Mass Effect Rule 34s in my time. In fact, I follow a Rule 34 Mass Effect subreddit. And I have seen some disturbing shit that I guarantee you no one would want to see ever. For example, if you follow Mass Effect, and you guys will know these characters, Liara being bound and fucked by a horse. Well, she's not bound by a horse, but she was bound and then fucked by a horse. Tali having sexual relations with a wolf. Ashley being fucked by, what was it? It was Varen. Miranda having an all-Vorcha orgy. And the weirdest one of all, Miranda being fucked by E.T. I'm dead serious. If you follow r/Ass Effect, you will find Miranda having some sort of sexual relations with E.T. Yes, that little 90s alien shows that loves Reese's Pieces and phones home with his light up finger. That alien. I swear to God, it is out there, and I don't know why. Every time I look at these, I'm like, who's into this stuff? Now, again, I am all for artistic expression, just not this example. If you are into making these whole zoophilic stuff, that you need to stop. Now, there are a few exceptions to this rule. If it's furries, because I understand a lot of, I don't shame people for being a furry. If they act like a furry and they just like, ooh woo, I made a fucky wucky, like that's an issue. Like, I don't want to see that shit. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people got turned on by me saying that, so I'm not gonna do that. You will never see me do that ever again. So with, and now there is a bit of hypocritical to this, being that in Mass Effect you can have sex with, or you can have a romantic relationship with a Turian and a Drell. The reason I'm fine with it is because you don't see the actual sexual act happen. The worst thing you see when it comes to Garrus and Thane is kissing. That still makes me feel a bit weird, but in a sense, as long as you don't see them like actually having sex, then that's fine. In fact, you don't see any characters having sex. In fact, it's just mild, softcore shit. So, yeah. And I will never understand why someone would find Shrek being fucked by a hog, a pig, entertaining. I don't get it. Like, I want to know, I want to see these people and be like, is this something like you're honestly turned on by? Because I get that, like, not a lot of NSFW artists get sexually attracted to, turned on, aroused by their art. Not saying everyone doesn't, but a lot of the not safe for work artists don't get sexually aroused by their art, which is fine. They don't have to be. I do find the act of making not safe for work art pretty interesting, because how do you become a not safe for work artist? It just seems like so out of nowhere and so random that you just like, do you just wake up and all of a sudden, oh, you know what? I'm a draw a naked woman that's in space, like a naked space hero. Or is that just something that you turn into over time? Like, you start with like space heroes and then you work your way up to like she's butt naked in space with her space helmet and whatnot. Like, I want to know, just because something like that always fascinates me. But yeah, but the problem with, now I don't have a problem with not safe for work artists, because like I mentioned before, they're pretty safe. But these zoophilic Rule 34 artists are the biggest problem, and the reason why I have a love-hate relationship with Rule 34. Because as a whole, the whole idea of Rule 34 is odd, but I get it, you know? It's... Well, I don't understand it, I can kind of... Like, there are some people who want to see, like, Miranda and Liara having sex with each other, or Piper and Kate going at it. Like, that stuff makes sense. But if it's like Miranda and Liara being fucked by a Vorcha and a Krogan, that's just... That is just taking it way too far, and something like that should not be allowed on the internet ever. That's something that should be stayed within your own private areas with your fucked up group of friends who think it's a good idea to write these non-fictional characters having sex with non-fictional animals, because... And some people could defending these people could make the argument of, well, there's no rule stating that it couldn't happen. There's no rule stating it could happen either. This is the dumbest shit ever, and look, I understand I'm making a big deal over some ridiculous ass shit, but just let me have my moment of weirdness, because this is something that has been bothering me for the past, like, week and a half. Like, the past week. Like, ever since Big Dan made that video talking about how a lot of these people who love romances need to get an addiction or need an intervention. He mentioned Rule 34, and then that shit has been bothering me since. The whole Rule 34 and the unrealistic and dumbass things that people do. And if you don't believe me, you can go search this up. Here's how bad this shit is. A game like Cyberpunk, not a single pet is present. Not a single, with the exception of birds. Like, no dogs. Well, okay, maybe a cat, but that's a cat. Because they mentioned in the game that a lot of these animals have gone extinct. The dogs have gone extinct. The cats are the last to make it. So there's at least one or two cats that show up. Well, there's like the Bakaneko and whatnot. So there's about two cats that's mentioned throughout, or I guess one singular cat that is mentioned throughout the entirety of the Cyberpunk storyline. Hell, you can have a pet cat if that's something you want. Explain to me, as to why there is, if you go on the Cyberpunk Rule 34, why there's a character being railed by a goddamn dog. That shit shouldn't be happening because there are no dogs in the goddamn game. This just shows how serious people take it. Now, there is like one there was like one thing that does bother me a little bit, but it's not as much as these dog ones, because at least they're fucking humans. And it is that lesbians are having sex with like gay, like straight men. Like, kind of going back to Cyberpunk, Judy is a lesbian. It's pretty obvious if you play the game. She will not be. There is no way to get a romantic scene with her without the use of mods. If you are a guy, and I mean like a full-on guy, not a guy with a female voice or a female with a male voice. I'm talking guy body, guy mouth, guy voice. It is physically impossible to get one. You need to be a female with a female voice. That's how you get the romance with Judy, because she is a lesbian. So explain to me why these things are showing up where Judy is having sex with a guy. That shouldn't exist. Now, contradicting to myself, I have been interested in Panam and Judy love scenes from Cyberpunk whenever I was going through my Cyberpunk obsessive. So I get that I'm being a bit hypocritical. But the difference is at least Judy's fucking Panam a female. Even though Panam's not really into the whole, like, women experience, I'll let her off a bit easy because she is the romance that you can have with a male body and a female voice. So I'll let that slide. But for the most part, that shit shouldn't be happening. And also, kind of going back, Horizon Zero Dawn, my favorite game of all time. Even though I haven't played that game in like almost a year, I pre-ordered the Forbidden West. So there's that. Aloy is seen fucking a dog, yet I have never seen a single dog in that entire game. I don't mean like the foxes or turkeys or wildlife that you can kill. I mean a full-blown house dog. I have never seen a house dog in that entirety of the game, and I have gotten all of the characters, all the possible characters to show up in the final battle against the Shadow Carja. During like the final battle of Meridian. So I have gone all those, and not once have I seen a dog that entire time. Now they do make her fuck the machines, but even then, that is still a bit much. That is still within the realm of fucking dogs and animals. Now, I know a lot of people are saying like, just don't go on it. Trust me, I haven't gone on Rule 34 since I want to see like Kelly Chambers Rule 34 stuff, but even then that was pretty mild. Because she wasn't being, was she? I can't remember. But yeah, so before I go on a bit of a bigger tangent and make myself seem much more pathetic than I already do, I'm going to end this episode here. Hopefully you guys, for whatever reason, enjoyed this video. And if for whatever reason you did, make sure to leave a like on the video. Comment down below your thoughts on Rule 34. Am I being crazy? Am I being a bit too sensitive? And again, I'm all for artistic expression. If you want to write, if you want to make the whole Miranda being fucked by Liara, that you can do that. Just no more animals. Like that's gross. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. And if you are one of those people that wants to see it, I pray to God that you get the help that you need coming from a guy who's making an entire video on Rule 34. And yeah, comment, yeah. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you do subscribe, hit that bell notification to be notified as to when I upload. I might start making more video game type videos because those are getting me views. And I mean, I like views. Who doesn't? And yeah, anyways, Loser Maniac out. Jesus.